This might look like ordinary paper that I took from my daughter's room, but for me, it became the place where I creatively problem solved and unlocked my own stuckness and found the next steps of how to take it from stuckness into expansiveness. In just a few short minutes, I'm going to show you how to use something as simple as pen and paper to completely shift your perspective and uncover the clarity that you need. I'm Michelle Baker. I have a master's in art therapy, and I developed the Art as a Soul Language method to help women at a crossroads rediscover their inner wisdom, release what's been holding them back, and step into the purposeful, authentic life that they're meant to be living. A lot of art exercises that you're going to find online are quite simple, and the main objective is for them to connect you to your body. So for example, drawing the breath or scribbling is just meant to help you get a little bit more visceral, which is totally valuable. I like to use art to connect with hidden meaning and messages from yourself that help you tune into your inner wisdom, because it really helps build your confidence when you can discover your own answers, your own knowing, and art is the avenue for getting there. So we're going to be doing a 3-step process. So it's going to take just a couple minutes, and you're going to be using art as a creative problem-solving avenue to unlock yourself from feeling stuck. And you're going to use a real-life example of how you might be feeling stuck in your life now. And I'm going to give different examples to help get your creative juices flowing. The first step is on your piece of paper, you're going to draw what your stuckness looks like. And the first thing I got to tell you is just use stick figures or abstract. Just make it very, very simple. You do not want to go into detail about your stuckness. All we want to do is portray it. And this is actually very important because the mind, the ego mind, can keep us stuck by leaving things vague. For example, when a kid is afraid of the monster under the bed, they don't want to look. They don't want to look under there. And you know that if they look under there, they'll see that it's only toys and stuff under there and not really a monster. Our mind does the same thing. It's like, I don't know, it's just horrible and I can't even look at it. So we're actually using the art to purposefully look at it and call out the details, the structure. What is the particular aspect of stuckness that I'm in right now? And that actually helps to distill it down. And then we're going to creatively problem solve it, which is quite fun. One of my lowest stuck points in my life was right after I graduated with my master's in art therapy. And I found myself babysitting that summer, and I was really depressed. I felt really stuck. I didn't know where I was supposed to go and what my life was supposed to be about. And I went to the art store and I bought a canvas and I started a painting that actually redirected my entire life path and led me to where I am today, living in paradise, having my dream job, helping other people that I feel aligned with. So I personally know the power of using art to get unstuck and to tap into your inner wisdom and redirect yourself and your life. Okay, so getting out your blank piece of paper, step number 1 is to draw your stuckness. Some of you might be able to do that, but I know that it's not always the most easy or intuitive thing to be like, well, what does my stuckness look like? So I'm going to give you a number of different examples to get your creative juices flowing. One example of stuckness that I can relate to as well is the feeling that there's like all this pressure coming down on you from every single direction. Or you might feel stuck because you have a bazillion to-dos in your mind and you don't know what to do and it's driving you a little bit crazy. Maybe stuckness for you feels more like being out in a vast sea of like emptiness. There's just nothing. Or maybe stuckness is being in a valley surrounded by sharp pointing mountains every direction that you look. Or that you're at a crossroads and there are many different paths to choose from and you have no idea which one you should walk down. I'm sharing examples of what stuckness could look like just to get you inspired. So use mine as stepping stones into making your own art. And remember, make it simple, use stick figures. This drawing only takes 1 to 2 minutes. And all you want to do is show, what does stuckness feel like to me right now? Before you go on to step two, because we're going to make alterations and shifts in both your drawing and your mindset, if you feel like sharing, I would love to hear from you what stuckness you're working on and how you depicted it in your drawing, or even if you're in your mind, if you're just imagining it right now as you watch this video. Step two is where it gets really fun. What you're going to do is look at your image of stuckness, and then just within the image, find a solution. This is creative problem solving. It's problem solving within the image. You don't have to think at all about how it might apply to your life. You just look at the picture like it's a puzzle and figure out what one really small, simple thing could change or shift so that the person would no longer be stuck. So this little guy right here, or woman, is stuck because there's so many different paths and they're not sure which one to choose. Now we go into problem solving mode. How do we help this little figure? Think of them as separate from you. That actually helps. Really see this as its own place with its own rules. And what I would need, if for this little figure here, what I think this little figure needs here is to know where they're going. So I feel most drawn to this spot over here. So I'm actually just going to draw in a little star like that. And maybe let's do some shooting light out from it. And now when the person stands here at this crossroads moment, they can kind of see the light, but they can also feel it. They can feel the energy needing to go there. So I really think that's all they need. And now that I drew the star, I noticed that the person's actually also most fully in that path already. So what they just needed was assurance of you're going the right way. Okay, so each one of these is like a puzzle for me to solve. You'll just have one that you're doing. When I look at this person, they're kind of smushed by all this stuff. It's like almost flaming around them. What do they need? What does this person need right here? What I feel like they need is just a little bit of space. There's actually already space between them and the stuff that's happening. So that's interesting. I could have drawn it like on top of them, and that kind of was the feeling I was thinking of. But sometimes you'll notice that in the art, you'll have an intention in your mind, and then the art still comes out differently. That's actually something you want to pay attention to. It felt like these burdens were on top of me, and yet when I draw them, there's this interesting space between all of the burdens and the figure that represents me. And so what I think this figure needs is just a little bit more space away from those. I'm just enhancing what was already there, the space between the burdens and the person. And now this is like a visual problem solving. I'm giving the solution visually. And now there feels like they're in this cave and they have this time to think. And all of that stuff is outside, farther away, and they can deal with it later when they come out of their cave. What you'll notice when you draw your own stuckness is it can feel really stuck. It can feel hard to troubleshoot and find a solution, even within the image. So you might have to sit with it for a moment. My first impulse was to have them walk away, but then I'd have to draw another figure. And the best solution for any problem in the visual problem solving realm is to do the least amount possible, make little changes. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to color these in because I want to make it feel like instead of them being stressful, they could actually be fun. What if there's all these fun things to do around me? And what if I'm really excited about it instead? Actually notice in my body that I'm starting to feel more loose, like starting to have more enjoyment. And now I'm going to make a slight shift to be excited arms, like, yay! I drew with pen, so there's no erasing. That's totally fine. I'm just gonna work right on top with what's already there. And then I'm just gonna make them look more excited. We're gonna make the eyes bigger. All right, so this turned from stressful into excitable, into fun. Instead of overwhelm, it's creative. I feel like this little guy, the stuckness of this really, I think, is loneliness. It's okay to be out in like a vastly open place, but if we're by ourselves, that's what can feel kind of scary or intimidating about it. So instead, I feel like this figure just needs a puppy. The puppy's like running up to them. Do, 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 do. I'm not very good at drawing doggies, so and then, instead of the figure looking scared, like, oh my gosh, I'm out here all by myself, they're like, oh my God, my puppy. Okay, last problem to solve. This tiny little person is walking through a valley and there's just steep mountains all around. So they can't go this way. The mountains feel kind of intimidating. What do they need? They need to feel like they're on an adventure. This is something people would actually choose to do. It doesn't have to be bad or scary. So to be on an adventure, I'm going to give them an adventure backpack here. So they've got that. I'm going to give them really good sturdy hiking boots so that they've got that. I'm going to give them a hat and a map. Now this went from being a scary, stuck place to an adventure, a mission, something that this person has chosen to do, and they're excited about the challenge. Oh my gosh, I love solving within the art. And I'm curious what solution you came up with. Even if you're only thinking about it in your mind, leave a comment. Let me know how you solved the problem in the simplest, easiest way through your art. So the third step is to look at the visual solutions that you came up with in your drawing. You just did one drawing. Now, and only now, do you think about the relationship of that to your life in terms of the metaphor. So, for example, this little person that didn't know which way to go, the solution that I came up with is like a guiding star, a place in the future so that they know to choose this path. Now I want to ask myself, what could this guiding star, this North Star, be in my life? For example, what is something in my life that's in the future, out into the distance, that helps me know I'm going the right way? What comes up for me as I say that is a desire that I have, some state of being that I want to obtain in the future, and I feel it in my heart. The other thing that you can pay attention to is what you did not need. So, for example, I could have given this person a map, but I did not. So I am not in need of a map when I'm in this particular stuck place. What I'm actually in need of is something that comes from the heart. It's my own desire for my future that helps me know which path to choose. This person with all of these like burdens coming down on them, bearing down on them, what they needed was distance. And I said it felt like a cave. So then I can ask myself, what's the metaphor of the cave within my life? And I would say for me, that's peace and quiet, time away from the stress, right? A place where there's really nothing else going on and a place where I have space to think. This type of stuckness where there were just so many ideas, so many things going on, the solution was to make it more colorful and more fun. So I would say the metaphor for that in my life would be to stop taking things so seriously and see that instead of things being stressful, they could just as easily be exciting or inspiring. For this particular type of stuckness where the figure is out sort of in this sea of nothingness, I added in a creative solution of having a cute little puppy to accompany them. And now the person doesn't feel lonely. So the metaphor for this in life is that Anything for me, anything where I feel lost and alone, just having companionship, one fuzzy creature or one other person there with me makes all the difference. And last, for this person who was stuck wandering through these pointy mountains, the solution that I gave them was to, have a pack and a hat and be an adventurer. So the metaphor that I might take from that into my life is that when it feels like you're on a really difficult journey, if you think of it as an adventure and prepare yourself with the necessary tools like the backpack, the map, the shoes, when you have yourself ready, then you're up for the challenge and it can be a real adventure. If this simple drawing exercise gave you even a glimpse of clarity or stirred something deep within you, imagine what could happen if you fully immersed yourself in this kind of soul work. My program, Wild Women, is a space for you to break free from the weight of feeling stuck, reconnect with your authentic self, and step into a life that feels meaningful and true to who you are. If you are ready to explore deep layers of your soul and unlock the life that you've been craving, click the link right below this video just to learn more and see if it resonates. Your journey to clarity and purpose could begin with Wild Women, and I would be honored to guide you.